Gen X women are exhausted. We are tired. We are burnt out. And there are reasons for this. I'm going to go through these, and I know you can relate to this. So be sure and stay till the end. One of the reasons we've actually been praised for our entire life, so it makes sense. So I noticed for myself that my to-do list it never gets completed. And there's a strange sort of satisfaction in getting the list completed every day. But I can't seem to complete it. It just rolls over to the next, and it keeps getting bigger. I'm pretty sure you can relate. So there are so many different things that I have to do throughout the day, like call the IRS to make sure that my taxes were accepted, because on the website it still says pending. And I have to call AT&T because they've put charges on my phone. And then I have to get on Google One because they're trying to charge me for data. And that's on top of everything that I have to do throughout the day. But these little admin tasks, they drive me crazy, and they deplete my battery so that by the time I've done 2 phone calls, I'm exhausted and I'm done for the day. And it's only 10 a.m. except the IRS, because that takes all day on hold. And they never change their music. It's horrible. But anyway, so on top of that, there are all the apps and all the subscriptions. And I just went through and deleted a bunch of subscriptions. And that is itself took my energy and most of the day. So the other thing about us Gen X women is that we are taking care of everyone and worrying. We are worriers. So, I worry about my cat. I worry about my loved ones. I worry about my spouse. And it's a crazy world. So it's just something that I've always done. And the other thing is about us Gen Xers is that we're kind of sandwiched in between taking care of family and kids and then taking care of elderly parents. And I will tell you that one of the things that really took my energy was taking care of my stepdad and then my mom. And it's something that we are going to worry about even if they don't require it of us. But my stepdad and my mom both had health issues with their hearts, and my stepdad was diagnosed pretty early with heart disease, and he decided eventually that he didn't want any more treatment, and so he came home early on hospice, and it was very difficult. And then so after losing him, I was constantly worried about my mom and moved home to help her, to be close to her. And there were the falls, there were the emergencies, in the middle of the night hurting herself, not able to get in or out of bed. There were so many unforeseen things. And then we had to get help. And then there were the caregivers not showing up. There was her, dietary needs, her reactions to medications, her needing to go to the hospital, and it just goes on, and it was a constant worry. She was my best friend, and so sleepless nights, and then working to try to keep her out of the nursing homes and to make sure that her needs were met. And so that leads me to the next reason why many of us are exhausted is that we've been working since we were still kids. I started working helping my mom at her business from a very young age, and started being rewarded for it early on. And then started working in a restaurant at actually 14 or 15, and continued into my adult years. Stayed in restaurants, resorts, retreats, working very, very hard. And that's just what we did. And then we continued to do that. So I'll come back to that in a second, because another thing that I definitely want to bring up is that as Gen Xers are now dealing with what I call the hell realm, which is menopause. So mine hit with a vengeance. We had this epic wedding in Sedona, and when I got home, the hot flashes hit and everything else stopped. And nobody talks about this. You know, I was raised, my parents were baby boomers, but I was also raised by my grandparents. I'm so grateful, so lucky to have had living grandparents. So what I learned from my grandmothers is that you nurture, you take care of the whole family. You are the one who provides all the meals, all the nurturing, all the caring, and look beautiful doing it. Both of my grandmothers, I never saw them where they weren't dressed up. Jewelry, dresses, everything matched, just gorgeous. And so I learned these things from them, to caretake and to look beautiful doing it, and also to that whole part about don't air your dirty laundry. Don't talk about the bad things. You internalize all of that and just get stuff done that needs to be done. And never go out without makeup. Never go out without looking your best. And so that was from my grandmas, and they were both nurses, so there was that part too. So I was always so I grew up wanting to help people heal, help people, nurture them back to health. And then my parents both had businesses. They were entrepreneurs, and they taught me early on, you work hard, you get rewarded for it. And my mom's thing was, if you play hard, you get up early the next day, you work hard. So those two went together. And I never got rewarded financially unless I was doing chores or some sort of trade-off. And I would wake up to lists of things that I needed to do that day. So that's where the to-do list started, only I could complete it back then. So all of these things are our programming. But what's happening is that we're putting the hard work in, and we're adding on 2, 3 jobs. We're adding hours. We're working hard, getting the promotions, and yet can't pay for things. Can't pay for the lifestyle that we actually need. And that's where the problem comes in. So we just think, I can work harder. I can control the situation so that I can make more money so that it works. But we find that we always come up short. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough energy. And we don't have enough money. So what do? On top of that, we're into people pleasing because of our programming. We have grown up feeling like we can do this. And also, another thing I learned from my mom is that I can do it better than anyone else. And so we have problems delegating. So I learned a few things that actually worked, because how can you recoup your energy after burnout? That is inevitable. Everything's moving so fast. Everything is so crazy in this world. And we have more and more social media, more and more apps, more AI, And all of these things are changing our world outside of us, and yet we don't have the energy to keep up with it. So how do we get it back? I think the first thing that I did was I scaled back on the hours I was working. I found a way to leverage my time. I found a way to delegate to others. And so I just had to decide that I'm going to work less hours and make more pay, make more money. So I started working for myself. And I decided back in 2013 that I was going to work online and scale back my hours. Now, the first thing that I chose, it didn't actually work because I was working more hours. So then I had to decide that I needed to find something where I could do the work once and keep getting paid on it. And through the years, I did manage to find exactly that. The next thing that I had to do was I had to stop throughout my day. I had to take time to stop. And I would say a good balance of that is take 20 minutes 2 times a day for yourself to stop and breathe. You can find apps that you can listen to waves. You can listen to a creek. You can listen to you can get a water fountain, but you can also do guided meditation, which I think is fabulous, or you can just sit in silence. But I started taking 20 minutes 2 times a day, in the morning and at night. And then it was working so well that I added one at my lunch break, or lunchtime. And it's very doable to do 20 minutes 2 or 3 times a day and devote it to yourself. And then you can also take time to read. Do something that's pure enjoyment that isn't going to get you anything. And that was a hard one, but when I started doing that really made a difference. And then I had to learn to delegate tasks that say I wasn't, good at. I hate admin work. And so I learned to use virtual assistants for that kind of work, because doing anything that you absolutely hate is going to drain you very quickly. So I know it seems like maybe at first you're going, well, I can't do that. Virtual assistants are very expensive, but I found a way, and I know that you can too. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I focused on getting really good quality sleep at night. So if you're waking up throughout the night, which in menopause a lot of us do, with the night sweats, with the hot flashes, with the just waking up at 2 or 3 because of our rhythms. So I found some really good sleep aids that were natural, and that made all the difference because I was able to fall asleep and stay asleep. And then as far as the hot flashes, what I found was there's a reindeer product called Primal Goddess, and that stopped the hot flashes right away for me. And I would recommend that. Look it up online if you're struggling with that. If you're looking for sleep aids too, reach out to me. I use different things. I have a CBD gummies from a company, and then these patches that I use that are actually from Live Good. And so once you find these things and you start getting your energy back, it feels really good, and then life feels more doable. And the other thing that really helped me was just getting out and walking a little bit every day, or bouncing on a rebounder, or just doing some yoga to get the breathing going. Or you can just do simple breathing, like breathe in 4, hold it for 4, breathe out for 4. That's the simplest way that you can stop and just do breathing very easily. And so these are the things that helped me the most. And getting a cat, it added worry, but it also brought a lot of joy for me. So just really write down where you're at with your life and see what's draining you the most, and then start with that. So if you're like, I have no joy in my life, then find something that brings you joy. And if you're depleted because you're taking care of everyone else and not yourself, then address that. If it's menopause, then start addressing those situations. So for me also, I wanted to travel, and I felt like I couldn't when I was just glued to the desk. And so I had to make that a priority, and I had to figure out how I could either save money on travel, get paid to travel, or just free up time. So what we found was that we wanted something that we could earn money from anywhere, not just from home. And so we found this opportunity, and this opportunity that we're in pre-launch for now is really great because they have products that help you go backwards in age, and they're stem cell products, and they actually go into your body and go straight to the cells and produce stem cells that you created or produced when you were 20. But by the time you're 40, you produce less. You produce about 50% less. And as you get older and older, they get less and less. And so stem cells are needed for energy. They're needed to feel that youthfulness and that vitality again. And so that's been one of the things that has definitely brought the youth back and the energy back. And the other thing is that we're able to earn at the beach or wherever we decide to go. And we can take off anytime we want, so we don't have to just plan a 2-week vacation once a year. Because for me, that wasn't enough for my sustained energy. So this brings in rejuvenation. It revitalizes the spirit, and we needed that. It is hot though. So here we are, and this is what we do. We do videos and we travel, and that's our work, and it's changed everything. So this opportunity is in pre-launch for the next 2 to 3 weeks, and they're launching a new compensation plan that pays you 4 different ways, and you can earn up to $100,000 for each way. And one of them is even just you get in, you buy your product, and you stay in, and you can get paid for that. No other requirements. And the first bottle is free with this opportunity. So it was a no-brainer, and our team's growing quickly. We're already earning, and we're able to travel. So if you are looking for a vehicle, then click the link below the video and get started. It's so easy, low startup, and you get your free stem cell product to get your energy back. So